DVC Drama, and welcome to another Crucible interview. Today, I am interviewing Sahil Singh and Sam Funk. Hi, thank you for joining us, and why don't you tell us a little bit about your characters?
Elizabeth Proctor, she's John Proctor's wife. They have 3 kids together, and I'd say Elizabeth is a very religious person. She's really soft-spoken. She doesn't talk a lot, but when she does speak, it usually has meaning. And she's very loving. So yeah, that's what I'll say. I don't want to spoil too much.
John is a little bit different than Elizabeth, I think. He can be less reserved. There is, in the stage notes, it's written as he has kind of a short fuse and he can get big. But he's a farmer, Elizabeth's husband. And all around great guy.
And how would you describe the dynamic between both of your characters? I know you guys have probably the most scenes together.
It depends on where we're at in the show. I feel like in the beginning, it's very cold. It's like they don't trust each other. It's like they're both walking on ice. They don't want to say the wrong thing. They always think about what they're saying before they say it. There's just a lot of tension between them. And then I think towards the end, we kind of get to see them as like an actual couple, as who they are, especially towards the end. We kind of get to see their love for each other.
I like the idea that they're in a town that's kind of very set in their ways. They're stubborn in a lot of ways. John and Elizabeth, I think, are thinkers. They really think about what's going on and try to evaluate it from like the best kind of standpoint. But that love, I think, is there even at the beginning. But like Sam said, it's like, I want to love you, but this thing that happened between us is kind of fracturing it, you know? So how do we work past, how do we exist in this space with this circumstance? And that's the circumstance, I think.
That's a really good way to put it. That's really interesting. What is something that your characters do subtly in the show that maybe the audience might not notice at first glance?
I kind of mentioned this earlier, that Elizabeth is really quiet. So I'd say she's always thinking. She always has something to say. She might not say it, but she's always got something going on in her head. She's always thinking about something.
John is he has a love and a loyalty towards his friends, I'll put it that way, and his family and things that he believes that are true. So I think at first glance, when you look at that character, you don't see that kind of underlying care. But it's there, and then the climax really proves that. I think Nikki will disagree with me, but
Well, that's definitely something the audience should look out for. And I'm also wondering, because I know the Crucible is very intense, very dark show, how have you emotionally prepared for your role, or what has that process been like for you?
Elizabeth is a really complicated character. She doesn't really see things as black or white. She's in that kind of gray area of thinking. So to kind of figure that out and kind of look behind when she talks, she always has some kind of meaning, a second meaning behind her words, especially in the beginning of Act 2. So it's been really interesting to kind of explore that kind of complicatedness in her feelings and everything that she says and everything that she thinks. So it's been fun.
It's hard to, I think, feel the emotions that I like end up feeling through the script, I think, because they're tough. You know, John made a huge mistake, and that broke a lot of things. It was the impetus for kind of this whole plot, and Abigail being the antagonist. I think John at least blames himself for that. How I do it, I mean, I prepare. I have tactics for certain things. Yeah, I just kind of let it happen to me in the moment. It's hard, though. They're tough feelings, you know?
Yeah, they're very complex characters, for sure. Last question. If the cast had a witch trial of their own, who would be the first to be accused?
Okay.
You thought about this.
I thought about this. So hear me out.
Okay.
I don't have a reason, but I know that I'm right.
Okay.
And it's hell.
Yeah.
That's
I
really
can see
funny
that.
you say that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I thought it would be me too.
You thought it would be you too.
I think.
Have you thought about this?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was thinking about it today. Yes, I think it would be me too. It's funny that you say that.
We all agree that it's Sahil.
You agree too?
It's not my interview.
Wow. I think I would, but I'd fight tooth and nail, bro. I would not go out like John, dude.
Say to the camera,
Hell
you fight tooth
no,
and
dude.
nail.
Tooth and nail, dude. And I'd win.
Adultery, John.
You're tearing down heaven and raising up a whore.
Thank you so much for joining us today. This has been Sahil and Sam. Come see them play John and Elizabeth Proctor in The Crucible starting March 7th. Thank you.